Hey, what's up, church family? We are live with Tyler and Mark. So we're here and we're going to have some fun talking about some of the unique differences that exist between Mark and I. Since you came on, we've had a lot of humorous moments between.
We have, but I thought we were going Mark and Tyler. I thought the one syllable thing.
I did say it backwards, didn't I?
Yes.
I thought it felt wrong when I said it.
Yeah.
Mark
right?
and Tyler. I got out of my head a little bit.
Okay.
The ego went out over the quality.
Okay. All right.
I went to, I don't know, hair over age.
Maybe that's what it was. I got you.
So one of the things that's been, and I've picked on you a little bit with this, but it's always been really funny. So is your phone, your high tech phone skills, because did they have the telephone when you were first born, or was that kind of a new?
No, it was. I climbed on a telephone pole and I just kind of yelled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the best. But so I'll get messages from Mark because it's one of the few people that actually will leave a voicemail. I actually forgot I had a voicemail thing set up, but he'll call and say, "Hey Tyler, this is Mark," and then he'll tell me his number on the voicemail. And I look at it and I just kind of laugh. I'm like, you know what, Mark, my phone gave me all the information that you did in that voicemail by the fact that you called. It shows me your name. It shows me your number. I could just click call back. Everything that you told me, my phone already did.
And the cool thing is, now that I know that it bothers you, I'll never stop.
It doesn't. It just makes me laugh. I'm like, I got to listen to this
Good.
message of Mark telling me everything that my phone already told me.
Good. Very good.
Cool. So you're learning now. You spend a lot of time kind of figuring out this whole technology kind of thing and getting thrust into.
Yeah. In my career, it's very fortunate. I had an admin. And, I was told that, hey, we don't pay you to do that. I want you to do this, 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 and this. And, and you don't realize that, you're going in and going, hey, I just did this. Can you do this? And now it's kind of like, So, but it's been good. It's been a growing process. I'm learning. It's something good as you get older. Continue to, just don't quit learning. I think that's a big thing. So,
and in fairness to you, as much as I like to tease you for it, technology advances so fast.
It does.
Like if you take a year off from like trying to keep up with it, you get so far behind. And to have multiple years of that, and then to have been in a time like, because I remember even like when I was a kid, technology didn't advance that fast. One thing would be like, oh, that's cool, and you'd have like 5 years to get used to that thing before the next new thing came out. Now it's like every time you turn around, what you just had was complete. Like by the time you buy the new iPhone, it's already out of date, and you need to get the other one just to keep the operating system working. So I can imagine that just the learning curve for that becomes really challenging.
It is, but it's fun, and it is. It's been an interesting couple of years just trying to catch up, and at the same time, man, everybody's been great about saying, hey, do this, do this, do this. So that part's been good.
Well, the part that I always appreciate is like what you bring to that table when we have those kind of things is like, I was like, oh, okay, this thing happened, I'll send an email, which is wildly impersonal, in a certain degree. And your first instinct is, I'm going to call, I'm going to go visit. Like, so you bring a lot of that more personal touch, just naturally in your thinking, than sometimes like, I'd be like, oh, you know what, that is more of a personal touch kind of a situation. And that's always something that's like, it's good for us younger people to remember is like, just because technology allows us to more efficiently communicate something, doesn't mean that's the most effective way to communicate it.
Yeah, Tyler, I think I made a career off, please, thank you, and yes, ma'am. I mean, I really do. I think that's, in some ways it's kind of a hidden art anymore. And it's just handwritten thank you notes. Everybody says, well, why would you do that? Well, because not many people do. Yeah. And so it becomes different. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just that, you got a style and you try to.
There's benefits to both.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the cool part that allows us to kind of integrate both into kind of how we operate with that. So, well, we've got some cool stuff. I don't know if you wanted to keep teasing each other for a bit first, or you want to get into
let's go, and then we'll just work them in.
Perfect. Well, we have been, with all the crazy COVID things that have gone on, one of the things that we haven't been doing for a while was the Monday Miracles, which was our kind of prayer night type of a thing. So we are looking to, as I understand, start that back up soon.
Yeah, we are. We're looking at tentatively November 2nd, which is a Monday. Tyler and I have had several discussions about, the name. It's very catchy, But if you were new to the church, you may not quite understand it. So we're looking at that, what that might look like as far as a new name. Same idea, same thought that prayer is essential for the church to continue to grow and for us to have an opportunity for that prayer to be corporate. I think is huge. Yeah. And so we'll. We're going to shoot for November 2nd. More details coming, but just very excited to be able to, to get that going again.
Yeah, so they may come out with a new name, maybe.
Yes.
But it will be the same thing. So the thing is not itself changing, but what we call it might.
Right.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I think is really important. You can tell a lot about the focus of a church. You look at Acts 2. Right, the church that existed in its purest form prior to Acts 5 is where we see human selfishness and corruption getting into the church, and that first little dose of that, and then you see problems and conflicts and stuff everywhere after that. But Acts 2, the church is in that pure, exactly how God designed it, wanted it to be. We get this perfect image of it, and it says they're devoted to 4 things: the apostles' teaching, which is the word, prayer, communion, and community. Mm-hmm. So it's being together, remembering corporately, focusing on Jesus, prayer, and the Word. And so by having something like that, what we're doing is demonstrating that as a church, we want to have that pure heart of being devoted to those 4 things. I mean, Sunday is something that's really heavily focused on the Word, prayer with Monday nights with that. Groups kind of provide both connection and Word, but that's all those things kind of really to emphasize those 4 pillars of what really we think, the church was really meant to look like.
And I thought about that when you said that, if you remember, there was that part in there where they were saying, and they sold everything that they didn't need, and they laid it at the feet of the elders, of the apostles, right? And so I guess for us it'd be the elders. But what I'm saying is that purity of just, our job is to do what God calls us to do, which is to give, and we're going to lay it at your feet and trust you.
Right.
And I just feel like I know that we've got a lot of things to work on, but I feel like our church does that so well.
They do.
And I think that's just such a neat thing.
Just seeing it through this time of COVID and this, global pandemic, and just the faithfulness, and not just in the giving, but in what we biblically you'd call the offering, is that which goes above the give. There's the sort of the spiritual component of like, hey, this is a discipline, but then there's beyond that, and like with our ministry partners and the like, was it like 2,000 pounds or 3,000 pounds of total? Just under 2,000 pounds of supplies that got donated to one of our to Helping Hand, which is one of our food pantry.
And I remember one time, just I think if I'm right, you said one thing about it, and the drive lasted a week, and it just filled the hallway. Mm-hmm. And so I guess. I think in the middle of pounding them in James for this whole series, I'd like to just say thank you, and we're grateful for our church congregation.
That kind of stuff is what I look at and I go, what we're trying to do, it's being fruitful, it's being effective. Is that we're seeing a community, because when you have those things, the natural result is the sacrificial community that gives of itself to benefit others. Because the focus of that community isn't on themselves, it's on Jesus, and on glorifying Jesus, and on advancing the gospel, and on what is good for others. And so when you see that naturally happen within a community, you go, okay, the things, something's, God's working here and something's going right. And that's, when you're leading something, you go, this is what I want to see. Yeah. And so to have that is just, that's truly.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
In the world, what you're going to see, somebody might give it, but their name's going to be all over it.
Yeah.
And so.
Here it just shows up.
Yes,
you're like, oh, wow.
It's just,
It's like that, the story of that widow who had the oil that just never went out. He's like, it just keeps showing up. Like, how does this keep? That bin was never ending.
Right.
It just kept filling up with stuff.
It's amazing.
But, so another thing that's really fun about you is you're like 6'9.5", right? You basically you could play Goliath in pretty much any reenactment of that story.
It's kind of going out front now, so it's quit going up. So we got work to do. But
how tall are you actually?
I'm 6'5".
6'5". Yeah, so I've borrowed Mark's truck before to move stuff, and it had an automatic seat to move forward and back, and it probably took me a full 2 minutes just holding that thing before my feet could touch the pedals. I've never felt so much like Tom before. What would really be great is to have Tom get in there and have to adjust your seat. It's like we might have to get him some extensions or something.
We do.
Well, the last big thing for us to talk about something we're really excited about. Justin and I had kind of teased this a little bit earlier in some of our in some of our live stuff, but we have just prepared to launch our largest digital content series ever. It's going to get embedded onto our website. We're really excited about it. We're finally we have a launch date, which will be Friday, October 23rd. We're going to launch our digital content series, How to Neighbor. And so it's going to get into some difficult subjects, but also some really important subjects. And the premise of the series is looking at Jesus says the two greatest commandments of the law, right? Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. One of the things that I find within the church community, I spend a lot of time, sometimes I get frustrated with this, like, why aren't we doing this better? Why is the church, Jesus says all the law is summed up in these two things. Why are we still so bad at it? And one of the things that kind of started to realize is that maybe it's not that like we intentionally don't want to love, but that a lot of times we don't always know how to love people who have different experiences than us.
Absolutely.
And so kind of the design behind this series is to look at the stories of different people's lives, to have conversations with people who have had different experiences, who've been through hardships or challenges or something in their life is something that would be difficult for someone who hasn't been through something like that to understand, and to learn from them, not just that we should love them, but what does that love look like and how does that love work? And so we're going to get into, we'll get into some tough stuff. The phase one's going through a couple of different things, but we're going to kind of continue to build and flush that out. So I'm really excited about it. It's a really cool thing. I hope will be a great teaching and training tool for our church to just, because you can never get too good at loving people, right? When the whole law is summed up in that one concept, right. It's not like you can get too good at we're too loving. It's like, no, we can always be growing here.
Well, the other piece of that, too, is that it's not just for church. So, a family has relatives in North Carolina and someone dies and they don't know exactly what to do or how to love them. Right. And now there's something, that they can go to and turn to as a tool. And so it's just that's the exciting piece for me, is that it's just so far reaching.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's no end to how far it could go, because we're putting together additional resources with expert thoughts and just different understandings, spiritual understandings of things, biblical understandings of these various issues, but also just hearing people's stories and learning. So there was a few of them that I was really I learned a lot from, wow, okay, in this situation, I should do this and not this, and I didn't know that. Yeah. But some of the stuff will be if it's if that's not a specific area that you've got interaction with, it'll be there if you ever encounter someone like that. But okay, that's not where I'm starting right now. But even just some of the little stuff, one of the things that really kind of started me on it, we're not going to get into this in phase one, but was the thinking of hearing a lot of knowing couples that have struggled with infertility, mm-hmm. or struggled with parenting and stuff like that, and then you have a well-meaning, well-intentioned person of the church that catches them in the lobby. It's like, so when are you guys having kids? And you don't realize how heavy that question can be because, sure. And you don't mean it. You're just trying to be personal, and that kind of thing. And so just hearing a lot of those stories, originally my response was to get frustrated for people asking that. And then I went, you know what, their hearts are not in the wrong place. But what if we did something like this to really help us see and learn so that we're not unintentionally causing someone pain? When we could be, what's a better way of approaching and stuff like that. We can kind of learn that from people who have those experiences. And so I'm super excited about this. I know a couple of the guys on staff and stuff that have worked, Justin spent a lot of time on it in particular. I think could be one of the most transforming things that we've put together in a long time. Yeah,
I agree. And I think it'll always be expanding, mm-hmm. And I think the other piece that's so neat is just that it's so well done, Justin. You did an incredible job as far as the music and just how it's introduced. And, Tyler, you write really well. And so that's a great combination. I think one of the things that you would like is that as it becomes available, that people could kind of tell you, hey, I like this, I really like this, or could you ever do this? Yeah. And so that we continue to make it even more usable.
Absolutely. Better, there's all the possibilities for it are endless.
They really are.
You can add more types of resources, books, websites, articles, videos, all those kinds of things can be added into it to just compile to where it's almost like a master class in caring for people who've been through a specific issue, so that if you've got a coworker that goes through something, it's like a digital library to go find, like, here's how I can help that person. Here's what I can learn about this, and just understand the sensitivities and just have that confidence to do that. And then, I mean, even being able to go, maybe at some point, we have people who are saying, hey, if you're going through this and you want someone to talk to, where we could even almost have like those kind of relationship opportunity type things where we've got people who've had those experiences who are willing to sort of mentor and guide other people, or just come alongside them and be empathetic with them. Yeah. All of that kind of stuff, like it could become this huge thing, and you hope that it's impactful for people. It could be really cool.
It's so funny because you gave me a book to read that kind of got your mind thinking about this and all. And I just had a coworker pass away from Coastal last week, and one of the things that the book was talking about was just the honesty of it all, and I was able to sit down with his wife and just say, I need to tell you something. I got all kind of opportunities to sit down with your husband and just talk, because I raised the money and he invested it. And so we were kind of partners in crime, but one of the things that I was able to tell her is that you need to know that you were the love of his life, and it was just so cool to be able to just know that would be a good thing for her to know, because I was in the book, it was just talking about the honesty of just knowing. And I think again, it's going to help people. I really do.
I hope so. And that will be really cool. So we're very, very excited about that. We'll be talking about that a little bit more to come, but you'll be able to find that soon as we launch it on our website. And that'll be, again, the 23rd of October on a Friday. We're going to kick that off, but we're very excited about it.
It's really neat.
All right. Anything else you want to discuss on that?
No. I just think, I've never been the old man of the group, and I am, and I think it's just been so fun to just constantly be challenged and to be energized and to kind of, it's kind of keeping you from getting too crotchety too soon. So it's just been really, really fun. We just discovered the other day that I'm actually 2 or 3 years older than Tyler's dad. He's gotten a really good kick out of that. And, but at the same time, it's just it's been really fun just to kind of it just feels like a good fit.
Well, it brings a lot of really cool like expertise and wisdom to the things. Like every time it rains and stuff like that, I just can remember like you were there for the original flood.
That's right.
And so how to get us through this.
Yeah, you should see us trying to get those elephants in. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know how we're going to top that. So, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us on Live with Mark and Tyler. I said it right that way.
Right.
So, we'll go that way.
Yeah, age before beauty. I like it.